This episode of Pop Goes the Culture is brought to you by Deanna Barker. Thanks for being a Pop Goes the Culture Patreon contributor. To get your name at the top of a Pop Goes the Culture episode, become a Patreon subscriber for just $4.99 a month. It's easy. By doing so, you'll help us keep Pop Goes the Culture coming to you every day. And as a thank you, we'll put your name at the top of a Pop Goes the Culture episode in the future. Thanks to all my Patreon contributors. I am David Levin, and welcome to another episode of Pop Goes the Culture, the untold behind-the-scenes stories of your favorite TV shows from all the stars who were there. On this episode, the final part of my talk with Jaleel White, who played the iconic Steve Urkel on Family Matters. We will discuss disappearing character syndrome and what memorabilia, if any, did Jaleel save from Family Matters. Also, recycling sets and playing basketball with George Clooney. You ever hear of Chuck Cunningham?
Chuck Cunningham.
Chuck Cunningham.
Did I cut him off in traffic one day?
No, you didn't.
Okay.
He was Richie Cunningham's older brother on Happy Days.
Chuck died. Chuck disappeared.
Disappeared.
Now I do remember Chuck. I've heard that name before, yes.
All right. And on My Three Sons, the oldest brother disappeared.
Yeah.
Family Matters.
Yeah.
People disappeared.
Yeah, we had a young lady that disappeared. She went upstairs and went to her room and didn't come down one day.
What happened?
Part of me wants to tell the real story. Part of me, I know we're confidential, but,
What can you tell us?
What I can tell you is that it's very unfortunate, but a lot of times parents can be the undoing of a child. And that was a very nice young lady who should have been on our show for 9 years. And a parent was responsible for that person's undoing. And that's sad.
She was not written out. She was just disappeared. Could you sort of, people can make a choice. They can replace the character, Darren on Bewitched.
But
how that choice got made.
Well, Tom Miller and Bob Boyette, very powerful men in Hollywood. They were very powerful men in television, period. And, their way of dealing with issues sometimes were simply to just shoot the dog. We don't have to explain why we shot the dog or where we're going to bury him or what kind of ceremony we're just going to shoot the dog and make the problem go away. And they were powerful enough to do that. They had done so much episodic television that they knew, as disturbing as it is to see a character disappear, it was kind of like the changing of the daughters and Roseanne or whatnot. The money relationships were not invested in that particular character. So ultimately, audiences will forgive, and they don't even know it, but they will forgive. So Tom Miller and Bob Boyette were savvy veterans, and sometimes they kind of took the politicians' way out. The less said, the better. So
she was just a dream.
She was just a dream. There really wasn't a little girl here.
She left it.
Yeah, she just came over to visit one day. You're all mistaken, you crazy audience. You crazy audience.
What girl?
So they took that way, and again, our show was built around probably about 2 or 3 relationships, and they got away. They got away with it, and I just think it's unfortunate for the young girl because she was a sweet young girl. And
I think she and Chuck are buried somewhere on Wisteria Lake.
Man.
Did you keep any memorabilia from the show?
I have a huge trunk of it, and my mother keeps it at our house. I keep none of that stuff in my house except for one thing. I keep a box of Urkelos, my cereal, encased in my kitchen. And if I can't have my own cereal in my kitchen, I mean, come on. And everything else, like I said, is in the trunk.
It's not going on eBay.
Nah.
Pay for retirement, though.
Nah. If I got to start selling the stuff that I have in my trunk to pay my bills, I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble. No. The stuff in that trunk are for unborn children to wear to bed one day, and I get a laugh out of it, and that's about it.
Untold or unknown or not really a big secret, but sets get used for different shows.
Yes. It's funny because on the back side of a set, on the bare side of a set, you'll see the markings where the crew has marked what show, because what show a particular piece of a set belongs to. And there's all kind of things stuck to the back of the set. I mean, from gum to boogers, it's just disgusting. And they'll have it marked, so, and typically when they make pilots too, they don't want to build a whole set for a show that they don't even know is going to get picked up. So they'll take, a wall from Full House and a wall from Perfect Strangers, weld them together and slap up some different wallpaper. So I'm sure we had many other sets on our show, and I remember I would see sometimes it'd be like Hogan family. Like, we're not the Hogan family. But that's TV is always looking for a way to save some money, to save a buck, man. Get that wall on stage 16. We need that over here right now.
I'll never forget watching I Dream of Jeannie and watching Dr. Bellows walk into Samantha and Darren's house. I'm like, what are they in the same complex?
Yeah.
They redress these things.
Oh yeah, they will redress you to death.
It's so funny. I'm just looking through some of this stuff. Is there anything that you want to talk about that we haven't talked about? Something like a funny story that you've been dining out on for years?
Oh man, I told you about the pie. I told you about my first kiss.
Are you backstage or on the studio lot? You guys used to have basketball pickup games like some of the other shows?
Yeah, used to play a little ball with George Clooney and a lot of people. It's funny when I did the show, and they bought me the production bought me my own basketball hoop, and they put it in the alley, and everybody would say, oh, that's Jaleel's hoop, that's Family Matters hoop. And then one day a little show called ER started filming next door to us, and a little famous man named George Clooney. Ain't nothing little about George. I love George, man. George was good peoples. But George would start shooting on the hoop, and after a while the drivers came over to our set and they just asked, hey, you know what? I know it's in the alley in between the stages, but would you mind if we pulled it out, into a different section? And by that age, too, I wasn't even playing on it as much as I used to. So I was like, all right, cool. So the hoop kind of got moved next to George's trailer. And so suddenly I would hear like, oh yeah, Jaleel plays on George's hoop. And that's when I started to learn as a young man about how the most famous guy in the room makes the rules. But George and I had some great one-on-one matches and out there. And I'll tell you one thing, I might have got him in one-on-one, but you ain't gonna beat George Clooney in horse. I might have had a quicker step, but you are not gonna beat George Clooney in horse. He got enough trick shots, man, to get some money out your wallet.
I think we're good. Have we
Cool.
missed anything?
Nah, man, you haven't missed anything,
Thanks
man.
so much.
I didn't mean to get boohoo on you, man, for real. I've never talked about that episode before. Wow.
That is it for my conversation with Jaleel White. He was a terrific guy and a total pleasure to talk with. Since this interview, Jaleel has continued acting, writing, and executive producing. I look forward to seeing what he'll be up to next. I'm David Levin. Till next time, please leave me your comments. Let me know what you think of the show. I read every single one. And by all means, subscribe here on YouTube and help us out by giving us $1 or $2 on our Patreon campaign. Just $1 or $2 from you, or $3, you can get to be on our live sister show, Ask Them Yourself, and actually talk to celebrities yourself, and you can ask the questions because, what do I know? I'm just a guy asking questions. You should be asking the questions. Ask Them Yourself, usually on once a week or so, 9 p.m. on weeknights. Watch out for when we're on. I'm David Levin. I'll see you next time. Hey, don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Facebook and hit the subscribe button.
Ooh.